Hello, and welcome back to Zedaph, Survival Commander. That is right, we are back here in the Survival Commander world. Oh, it's been a while. This series has not had an episode for a long time. In fact, many of you may have missed the first 3 episodes, in which case, go back and watch them so you actually understand what's going on. But a quick little rundown. Now, basically, we're here in a survival world. Everything's perfectly normal, except, whoa, what is this machine thing here? It is our Survival Commander machine, which will basically allow us to have command blocks in survival mode. I know, it's crazy, it's unbelievable, but believe it, folks, because it's happening right now. So, obviously, you can do a lot of very powerful things with command blocks. I'm kind of sticking to certain self-proposed rules. The rules kind of change from thing to thing that I'm building on as well. For instance, over here, we have a little teleporter. Look, this is our platform marker. If I stand on here, it will teleport me over there to our main base. Bloop, like that, perfect. This is where our main base is going to be eventually, that I've done some digging out of. And again, bloop, we can just teleport right back to our base. Not our base, our platform here. Like that. That is fine. That uses a command block. If you want to know how I do it, I've set up a little thing. Let me grab the bits and bobs. We need one of those. This recipe I've set myself. I think it's quite a fair recipe. And we need 2 quartz. Right, so I need to come over here to my special command crafting machine. And I need to put the orange clay in the corners, redstone block in the middle, quartz at the top and bottom, and I need to put a repeater and a comparator there. Now, the all-important part is I need to stand on top of it. I quite like to take the redstone block out, stand on top, and go boop, like that, and it gives us a command block. Perfect. So now we have one. We can place it down. We cannot break it. It's impenetrable. But I can, and we can't even use it at the minute as well. I need to stand on top. It puts us in creative mode, so I need to be very careful when stood on top of command blocks. That allows us to access it, and we can type in our command as well. And if I want to delete it, I can just type delete in all capitals, and boop, like that, it pops it back into my inventory. So yes, I can technically cheat, but I promise you, where's my face? I promise you, I am not going to cheat, because what would be the fun in that? This whole game mode is purely to try and get the most fun out of vanilla command blocks possible, like teleporters. They're fun. That's, you know, you saw the recipe. That's not cheap. It's not like I can just make 1,000 million of them. In fact, I've only got 4 at the minute. I've got quite a lot of quartz, quite a lot of redstone, not much orange clay. In fact, no orange clay. So, yeah, it's not the cheapest thing in the world. So I think it's quite fair. We also did some projects down there. Again, I'm not going to go through everything because there have been 3 episodes already. So if you do want to go check them out, feel free to go back and check them. There will be a link in the description down below there. So let's actually get on with what we're doing today. I'm going to need to make a lot more command blocks. That's for sure. But yeah, let me head over to my base area. Bluff. Here, right. So I've decided this base is going to be kind of like a cave kind of base, but I keep imagining Superman's house or cave area, right? So it's all like white and crystally, which means we're going to have to use a lot of quartz. Now, you saw in my chest there, I had a lot of quartz, but to be fair, that's just going to go. As soon as you make it into blocks, it quarters your quartz amount, and as soon as you start laying them down, you know, an 8x8 bit of floor is a whole stack of quartz blocks. So, yeah, quartz goes very, very quickly, and I want to make the whole cave inside made out of quartz. So we're going to need a reliable source of quartz. Now, you cannot make a quartz farm in Minecraft. That's impossible, but we do, boom, have the power of command blocks. So I'm going to make a little farm up today that will allow us to kind of get quartz in a fairly fair way. Hopefully, you'll all agree that it's not too cheaty. We will see. Again, I don't want to keep going over this whole, am I cheating, am I not cheating? I'm having fun, and hopefully you'll enjoy watching too. And I guess that's all that matters at the end of the day as well. So right, let's get into the machine building part of it. Hello, Mr. Horsey. How are you doing? Are you here for the explanation? No, you're showing me your butt. Oh, and you're wafting it around. Oh, Go away, you dirty beast. Stop laughing. Right, so this is my kind of like logic behind my machine. What I want to try and do is make these quartz crystals, okay? And to get off my quartz crystal horse. Go away. If you're going to fart, go over somewhere else. I want to make these. I want to kind of grow these crystals. And my very basic scientific knowledge stretches that you can kind of make, yeah, that's it, go for a swim. You can kind of crystallize salt, right? You can kind of evaporate salt water to get crystals, salt crystals out of it. So I kind of want to do some evaporation, and I thought to make the salt, the best we're going to get is some sugar, right? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to be popping sugar, not sugar cane, sugar in water. The water's going to evaporate off somehow, and it is going to turn it into a quartz crystal, which we can then collect. Okay, now I need to juggle around with the time. So basically, we're exchanging one sugar for one quartz crystal, which, we can grow the sugar fairly nicely in a farm such as this, and then we can just pass it through the machine and it will go. We need to, work out the finer details, like how long does it take for the water to evaporate. I mean, I don't want it to just be like put in a sugar cube thing and like, blum, instantly you get quartz out of it. Like, that would be silly, but at the same time, I don't want to be waiting for like days and days and days for it to just give me one quartz crystal. That would be silly, so we're going to have to find a fair amount of time. But I think I can kind of tweak that once we've made a machine. So let me head over to the base, which is where we're going to be building this, and we can start prototyping some ideas. So over here at the main base, I've decided to just sort of make it, right? Try and do this little thing just here. It's going to have like this one by one little section inside, and that's what we're going to fill with water, and we're going to drop the sugar in, and then it will make it into quartz, and then the hopper will collect the quartz underneath. So we're going to need two things. We're going to need two dispensers here, one to put the water in, and one to put the sugar in, right? So this one will dispense the water bucket, this one will dispense the sugar, and then we'll have like a little glass front like this. Boom, so we can see inside, watch it do its thing. But what we ultimately need to do now is kind of create like the animation part in it. So I'm going to need, it's pretty much that, right? It's going to be an animation. We're going to need a armor stand to catch the item. So we're going to kind of use an armor stand as like a placeholder, if you will. So the sugar will drop down, and it will put a piece of sugar on the armor stand's head. The armor stand's going to be invisible there, so it will just look like the piece of sugar's just sort of stood in there. Then when the water goes in, it will sort of, command blocks will detect that the sugar is on and the water is in, and it will do its thing. I'm going to try and get the water to slowly disappear, drain away. And then when it's all gone, boof, it's going to turn into a nice bit of quartz. The hopper will pick it up, and then, I don't know, it can just run into a chest maybe here, or, if we have a few of these next to each other, a chest down the bottom there, which will collect all the quartz up. And obviously we can fill the thing with lots and lots of sugar so that it just keeps producing more and more. Again, like I say, we'll have to get the rate of the sugar to quartz producing ratio, like how long it takes for one piece to be made. We'll have to play with that and kind of get it to a fair amount. But I need to go and make some command blocks now, and believe me, they're a lot more expensive than I remember. I've almost run out of all of my stuff. Oh dear, oh dear. What have I let myself in for? I guess that we can make machines or cool, amazing things later that will actually, maybe mine redstone for us and stuff. So maybe it won't be too bad. But anyway, I've got to get building lots of comparators, lots of everything, really. I've started gathering it all over here in the command crafter. We've got those bits. 16 redstone comparators. We need 16 repeaters, and then 64 orange clay as well. So let me get making those, and we can craft them together in just a moment. I need to find a messer. Messer biome, that would be so much helpful. And I should be able to craft 16 at a time. In fact, I always like to take the middle block out and then go, boosh. There we go, 16 more command blocks. That should be enough, 21 total for what we want to do today. Let's... Wait, whoa, that scared me a second there. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to want to do is put our little armor stand guy into position, and he is going to do everything. He is the center of attention. he is what the command blocks will refer to for this specific machine. So every time we have one of these llama stand guys, that is going to be a quartz machine. So to do that, we're going to need to give him a scoreboard value. And because we're evaporating things into quartz, I'm going to call it evaporquartz. So we're going to need to make it. So scoreboard, player, objectives, add, let's go evaporquartz. That's the name of this specific thing. And it's just a dummy value. Boom. There we go. Evaporquartz has been made. Let's give that to this armor stand guy. So we're going to go scoreboard, players, set, not Zedaph. We're going to go at E, type equals armor stand. Oops. Yep, armor stand. And we're going to do the closest one. So it only does him. Evaporquartz. And we're going to give him a value of 0 at the moment, which we can check that we have done correctly if we get the little set display up sidebar for evaporquartz. There we go. That's him with his 0 score of evaporquartz. Hello, 4C, F5, 3B, AB, so blah, 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 blah. Okay, right. Next thing we want to do is we want to get him into position. So he's going to want to move 2 blocks back and kind of, I think, a block down because the sugar's going to go on his head. Right, so we're looking towards positive X. So we're going to execute at E, we can use the score now. Score of evaporquartz. He's the only thing in the world with evaporquartz of 0. Boom. Yep, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And we're going to want to do the command teleport. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. But we're going to, what did I say? We're looking in the positive X. So we want to move him 2 in the X. Yeah. Oh. My bad. Okay. We got to put this bit again for the teleport. Like that. Boom. There we go. He moves. And I want to move him 1 block down so that when the sugar's in his head, it kind of looks like it's floating just about there. So again, we do the same command, except instead of 2 along, we make it go -1 down. Bush. There he is. His head's just poking out there. So that should make it look pretty good. We can adjust that a little bit afterwards. Anyway, so he's in position. He's called evaporquartz 1. Let me start getting the command blocks down. And what we're going to actually do here is we're always going to refer to this armor stand guy, okay? So we're always going to be doing an execute. Every single command is going to start with an execute. So that just sort of is the first half of the command done. So I'm going to try and show the commands up on the screen. We've not done it like this before. Hopefully it'll be a little bit clearer. I will get stage 1 of the command blocks in and we shall explain. Okay, so we're starting off with 5 command blocks here. This one's the one with the clock, and then these ones just chain afterwards. Now, I'm going to fuzz the screen out and try and explain very briefly each command one by one, and then we'll kind of see it in action. So to start with, like I say, all of them are executing at this guy with a different evapor score. So you can see that they start off at evapor score 0, go down to 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then evapor score... evaporquartz, what am I talking about? Evaporquartz 2. Right, so anyway, that is just the execute commands, just so that we can have multiple of these machines without having to use different scoreboard values or scoreboard title kind of things. We can just use the same ones. Right, so it's only going to execute at this one guy, though, at the time being. So the first one, we then execute an item a little bit above his head. So basically that's going to be the sugar when it enters and is near his head with a range of 1. It's going to then trigger the next bit of the command, which scoreboard players set the armor stand that's nearby to evaporquartz 1. So basically when he has an item near his head, then he will have an evaporquartz score of 1. The next one detects that evaporquartz score of 1, and it will do a few things, right? It will kill the item that's near his head, so it gets rid of the sugar item, actual entity thing. It will then change his entity data so that he has sugar on his head, which is that last bit of the command there. And then the next one, it will give him an evaporquartz score of 2, so that we now know that he has an item on his head, right? He's like ready and waiting. So then the next part of the command, the last final one, we're checking for a minimum evaporquartz score of 2, i.e. he has the sugar item on his head, and then we're detecting whether there's a water block, and the negative one there is just any kind of water block at all. It can be a full water block, a kind of end of a water block. You know when you put a water bucket it down and it kind of slowly gets smaller and like shorter and shorter water? That just means it doesn't care. It does any kind of one. And if it finds a water block there, it will add to his Evapoquartz score. So what we're doing basically is we're slowly building up. When he has an Evapoquartz score of 2, that's all good. And then when he finds the water in his head as well, it's just going to keep adding to his Evapoquartz score. So basically, it's going to act as a timer, right? So it's just going to go like, boo, 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 boo. So he's going to go like, have 0 score. He's going to have 1 score, 2 score. Oh, yeah, he's ready. As soon as the water goes in, it's going to go 3, 4, 5, 6, blah, 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 like that, which means we can use it as a timer. So however long he has a sugar and water on his head, you know, that's how long the evaporation process has been kind of happening. So let's give it a go. Be watching the Evapoquartz score over there on the right-hand side. When we put a sugar item in, this should kill the sugar item and pop it on his head. If I can get up. Right, okay. Here goes. Are we ready? Boom. Okay, it did it. And look, his Evapoquartz score is now 2, which is perfect. That's the whole, he's ready and waiting with an Evapoquartz score of 2. Now, if we just pop in here, let me put a water button down. Let me put a button down. Let's just put it over the back here like this. So this is going to put the water bucket, which there's no water in there. Uh-oh. Okay, hang on. I need water. And we go splish. Okay, right. So when we power this and put water there, it's going to detect that there is water in this block. I'm going to need to block that in, actually, aren't I? Right, let me do that and pop that in. So let's change where this button is to be. Let's just sort of stretch it around the corner a little bit. So hopefully we can see it going. We can. Whoa, craziness. We can remove that. Right. Okay. So we can see. Right. So when I put this water in, the scoreboard value over there on the right hand side should just keep ticking upwards. There we go. Okay. So it's working out how long the evaporation process would have begun for. It's just going up and up and up. So now what we can do is we can use that number. I'm going to say every 100 or so, it's going to affect the water. So this is just more of like an animation that we're building in now. So like I said that you can have those different values of water height. We're going to be using that to our advantage. So I'll try and show you what I mean. I'll put in the next few command blocks and we should see that we can actually animate the water getting lower and lower block by block. So I've got a little demonstration for you to show you the water animation thingy majiggy. So we've got a little container here with a hole in the middle, and this command block will point to that hole. So it's set block in that hole, and it's just going to set it to Minecraft water. So the 0 ID there is as if you've just put a water bucket down. So sploosh, there we go. It's fairly high up block of water. But yeah, weirdly, like, look, if I put a block there, you see the corner drop a little bit? It's like it works out where there's air gaps, and bloop, you see that corner go higher? This is the only one that's a bit lower now. Let's get the light back. And sploosh. So what we want is we want the block as full as possible, because it actually makes it higher when the corner pieces are in. I hope you can actually see that in action. Bush. So we're going to want all the corner edge bits filled in. So i.e. we've got this one here that is open as air. We want that filled in with a quartz block. We will have... Why can't I get up there? Yeah, this one here needs to be full up and this one here needs to be full too. So that's good. We're kind of already doing that over here, except for this one, but it's only temporary to view with. So that is level ID number 0. If we set this to 1, you should hopefully see that it goes down a bit. Bush. You see it went down a level. And if we set it to 2, and sploosh, yep, see it goes down every single time. I think it's all the way up to 7 is the lowest one possible. So if we do 7, bush. There we go. Look, it's literally the teeniest, tiniest little slither of water ever. So we've got 0 through to 7, so that's 8 different stages of water that we can actually, visually show getting lower and lower. So long as we've got those corner blocks to make sure that the water is at its kind of highest possible, if you will. So let's get rid of this command block here. Oh, delete. Boop. That gives us that one back. Right. So I've got the next 7 command blocks in. These ones here, all they do is they're going to... let me get the thing back up on the screen. So we're going to, again, execute an armor stand. We're going to want to make sure his Evapor score is at the minimum 100. And if that's the case, we want to set the block of water to ID value 1. If it's 200, set it to 2. 300, 3, 400, 4, all the way up to 700. So that's taken quite a long time for that count to get to 700 now. Then it sets it to the minimum level of water. That's what we're doing for now. The next stage will be to set it to 800, and then we're going to want to make it air and all things like that. But let's just make sure that the animation of water actually goes down bit by bit. So we're going to do it in a different order this time. Let's get the water out first. Okay, water bucket has been deployed. Now we're going to want to eject the sugar in, and you should see, even though his Evapor score at the minute is 0 over there on the right, you'll see that it will immediately go 1 and 2 because it's detected the item and put it on his head. Immediately go to 3 because there's already water detected there, and then it will just keep ticking up, and the timer will begin. And I think the first one, like I say, is when it's 100. It will do the first animation. I'm going to fill this corner in actually because that makes the water higher level. So we should see the timer ticking up and the water draining down. Let's have a go. Bush. Okay, timer's going. We're going to hit 100 and it's going to get lower. Down it goes. There we go. We saw. So this is gonna take how long? Let's time it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5. Oh, I think it's exactly 5 seconds it takes for each lower layer to go down, and we're going through 8 stages. So 5 times 8, 40. It's going to take us 40 seconds per quartz crystal. I think that's fairly good timing. Let's keep watching it. 600, 700. When it gets to 700, it should just stop. Okay. There we go. That's at its lowest now. When it hits 800, we want to do new stuff, but I've not put those command blocks in just yet. So let me get those in too, and then we will have a little look at it in action. So we have our 4 final command blocks in here. These ones are just going to kind of reset it, get everything ready back to square one again over there, which is going to trigger it off. So let's have a look at the commands for these. So the first one, when he has an Evapor score of minimum 800, so 700 was the last water animation going down, 800 now is kind of like the final time. We're going to change his entity data of the armor stand. Like we put the sugar on his head, we're going to take the sugar off of his head. Okay, so you're welcome, Mr. Armor Stand. You now have a sugarless head. The next command, when he has exactly 800, so it's checking for a minimum of 800 and a maximum of 800, because we only want this to trigger exactly once, we're going to summon a nether quartz crystal item in. So that's going to actually be, our harvest kind of thing. That's what we've just been trying to make this whole time. All of the rest of it is basically to make this one command not cheating, if you see what I mean. We're getting rid of a lot of stuff for this one thing. The next command, again, it's slightly more. It's when he's got a score of 820, so the timer's still ticking now. And we just want to give it a little bit of time. We want to get rid of the water completely, so we're setting the block to air. That's where the water would have been. And then the very final one, again, at a timer score of 820, we're going to just set the armor stand back to Evapor Quartz 0, what am I talking about? Which is just ready and waiting for the next one. So that's how he started off with an Evapor Quartz score of 0. He's back at an Evapor Quartz score of 0. The water has gone. Everything is great. He has no sugar on his head. The hopper would have picked up the nether quartz item. So yeah, it's all good. So that should work. So let's have a look. Let me make sure that the hopper is empty. It is. Have I got a water bucket in there, though? That's the issue. I think... Yes, I have. Oh, great. Okay, so let's get the water out. Sploosh, like that. Lovely. Let's get the item in, and the timer's just going to get going. Boom. Okay, right. So we're on. The sugar's on. When it hits 100, bush, there we go. The water goes lower. Now we have to wait all the way up to 800 for things to happen. So I'm just going to speed this up, skip it forward, and what is going to happen is a nether quartz should appear. There we go. Right, that happened very, very fast. And we look in the thing, and there's sugar in there. Why is there sugar in there? There shouldn't be sugar in there. Wait, which one is this one, I think? Oh, okay, because I'm an idiot. Okay, I've made it. Look, I've given us sugar. This is a sugar farm that turns sugar into sugar, and it takes like 40 seconds. So what is it? Is it just quartz? Just quartz, I think. I'm gonna have to run that again now, aren't I? Okay. Sploosh, and it's reset. Let's have a look. I did see, yes, the quartz crystal there. That is our first ever harvest. This machine has actually worked. There we go. Now, I did just notice a problem, though. In redoing this, because the water disappears, we're now just left with an empty bucket in here and nothing to do. I mean, I could pull the empty bucket out with another hopper, put in an empty bucket, but why? No, that's just silly. That's just clumsy. What we can do with command blocks is make a dispenser a dispenser. It's going to spin around, and back here there's going to be some water that is like renewable. You know how the water sources join together to make a new water source, and it's going to suck, using its bucket, it's going to suck that water up and then flip back round again, ready for the next one. So I'm just going to add 4 command blocks. Now I want to do that a little earlier in the program here. So I think around here, yeah, this is just after we've put the water out. So I'm going to redirect these command blocks. I'm going to make it so instead of it sort of traveling around like this at the minute, like the command blocks go do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and do-do-do-do-do, like that. I'm going to make it continue on and go 1, 2, then that way, and then down this row. And another thing, I think that the item on his head should turn into quartz earlier. Okay, so that's just an extra command block. I'll show you that in just a minute. I don't know, are we at about 600 here? 500? I might add it around here somewhere. Shuffle all these command blocks up one and make it visually, you know, that he has quartz on his head for a little while now before it pops off. So let me get those command blocks in. Oh, I tell you what, this command blocking is hungry work. There we go. I think we have everything in. The pattern just goes way like that. So the 4 here that I've just added, let's get the commands up on the screen. So what we've got is a first one when we hit Mvappa's quartz score of 20. So very early on in the timer, we want to set the block behind. I've worked out which direction it is, to a dispenser facing the other way. That's what that 5 is. And we're going to replace it with a dispenser with a bucket in. It's just exactly the same. It's just I couldn't figure out a way of turning the dispenser around without having to specify what was inside it. Like, I was just turning it around and it was removing the bucket completely. So this one, it basically just puts that bucket in. It turns it around, keeps the bucket in there. The next command, when we hit a timer of 30, it's going to set a specific lever. I'll show you it in a minute, at those coordinates to on. Then 10 scoreboard later at 40, we're going to turn the same lever off. That's what the 13 and the 5 mean. The 13 turns it on, the 5 turns it off again, and then 10 more at Evapor Quartz 50. We're going to turn the dispenser around. The direction is 4, and we're going to replace it with a water bucket, because now it will have a water bucket in, because that's what we just did when we powered the lever. So, wow, we're back in the room. Let me show you that lever here. There we go. So we're going to have water here. So it's going to, first off, we're going to turn this dispenser around to face this way, and it's going to have an empty bucket in. We're going to turn the lever on, which is going to power the dispenser. It's going to suck water up. We're going to turn the lever off. It's going to have a water bucket in here now, and then it's going to turn back around with the water bucket in, ready to go for next time. And then I did just add one other little command block. This one here, which if we get the command up on the screen, it basically just is a visual thing. So at 550, they were going up in 100, so this is halfway through. It's going to turn the item on his head into quartz. So that's that one. Let's just double check that is what that says. Yeah, into quartz. There we go. Perfect. So that's all that. That's everything going. Let me get the water in place. Okay, right. And we have access. The water can't leak anywhere. I've got my 2 water buckets here. 1 and 2. They make an infinite source. Let's just keep 1 for now. We put that water bucket in there. Okay. So like I say, it's going to turn around, suck this square of water, have it. It's going to turn back around and ready and wait. The reason I've done this with the lever is just so that we can have more of these next to each other, and this redstone line will just basically trigger all of them. We just have a singular thing ready to go. So oh, that's not good. Don't need that anymore. The water should always be there. How are we going to turn it on, though, actually? That's a good point. That is a very good point. Okay, so we're going to have to manually do it. So that button I just got rid of is no good. We need it back. There we go. Right. So let's see if it works. Let's get the water out and ready. Okay, so now we've just got a... Yes, we've just got an empty bucket in there waiting. It's going to spin around. You hopefully can see it. Let's get our sugar in. There we go. It's going... Oh, did you see the dispenser turn around and then back again? Let's go and have a quick look. It should now have a water bucket in. Yes, perfect. That all worked flawlessly. Okay, let's get a little closer. In fact, let me get a block down so that we can see. There we go. At 550, it's going to change into a quartz block. Oh, it's getting lower. It's going to get lower. Lower and turn into a quartz any second. There we go. It's turned into quartz. Our farm works. And now we just wait for it to kind of finish off, evaporating away all that water. We've got wet quartz at the minute. We want our quartz nice and dry. Bush. There we go. And it resets. Lovely. And we have quartz. We have a quartz farm, people. Oh, this is good. Oh, I fell. Okay, right. So I need to tidy this up a little bit. Try and get a couple more of these in place. Or at least some sort of automatic, redoer. Just so that we can keep it going. It would be nice to have one button that kind of triggers both of these, actually. Sploosh. Oh, there we go. Did you see it turn around, pick up the water, and turn back again? Timer's back going again. Perfect. Okay. Oh, this is so good. I'm so happy. So here we go. Our quartz making machines. I've got 3 of them in now. I've not actually tested it. I've covered the command blocks up there. They're just underneath. And we're going to give it a go. I've kind of hooked it up so that we can manually activate the water with this button here. It will send out the first lot of water, and we can manually activate each of these. I do eventually want to get them up on a timer, but again, that might be some other kind of command block creation to create little armor stand lever puller guys or something like that. I'm not sure yet, but for now, I'm just going to do it manually. So let's give it a quick go, and then we will end the episode. So, sploosh, that gets all the water out, and then we can go dish. The sugar is going. Very nice. The thing filled up in the back there. Let's get this one going. Very good. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Let's get this one going. You can see that they can all go at different times. They're all independent of each other because of all the execute commands. Which was, well, this one's going to go first, I guess. Come on, quartz. There we go. We have some quartz over there. Very nice, very nice. Got some quartz coming here any second. Very good. That one's going to finish. Bloop, it finished. Very good. We should have some quartz yet. 1. And that one's just about to finish. 2. Very good. Final 1. Come on, quartz. You can do it. You can do it. Please. For me. Yes. There we go. And the machine has been reset. We have our 3 quartz. We have a quartz making machine. Ha ha ha. Now I just need more sugar. I've run out completely. Anyway, that is all we have time for this episode. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me your comments and responses and whatever you want to do, ideas and things of how I can improve this and things what I did stupidly that you could have done much, much better yourself. Please let me know. If you haven't as well, feel free to subscribe to catch more content in Minecraft and other games too, which are going to be coming out very soon that are on my channel. So yes, be excited for that. But anyway, I'm going to say goodbye now. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the return of Survival Commander. Thank you very much. Goodbye.